Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Post Falls Urban Renewal Commission meeting. It is February 17th, 2022. And I'd like to ask Director Johns, to call the roll, please.
Coles.
I'm here.
Davis.
Here.
Baltzo.
Here.
Jeltness.
Here.
Fleshman.
Here.
And Commissioners Clemenson and Crosby have excused absences.
Okay, is Commissioner Clemenson going to be on electronic monitoring or anything?
No, he's not available this morning.
Okay, very good. And I'd like to ask Commissioner Davis to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, again, good morning to all of the people that are here. A little bit small crowd today, but that's okay. I'm not aware of any ceremonies, appointments, or announcements at this time. Unless anybody else has any they would like to share. I think we're good to go. So let's move right on into the consent calendar. Director Johns.
Good morning, Chairman Baltzo and Commissioners. Item A in the consent calendar is the Commission meeting minutes of January 20th, 2022. Item B is the Commission workshop minutes of February 3rd, 2022. Item C is the payables for this month, totaling $7,780.97. Item D is the bank activity report, which shows total funds in all accounts of $4,911,535.21 and accrued interest for the month of $174.93. Item E is the financial reports as of January 31st. Your approval of the consent calendar will authorize the transfer of $174.93 accrued interest to the general fund and transfer to the First Interstate checking account amount of $7,780.97 for the general payables. Mr. Chairman, I would answer any questions.
Okay, are there any questions on the consent calendar information from anyone? You're all good with that? Okay. We'll need a motion to
Move to approve.
Move to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? If not, a roll call vote, please.
Coles.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Baltzo.
Aye.
Jeltness.
Aye.
Fleshman.
Aye.
Okay, motion approved. Thank you. All right, committee updates, finance and policy. Commissioner Crosby is absent. Commissioner Fleischman, were you going to say a word?
Yes, no updates on that other than we did review the January financial reports. That was actually me this month, and I reviewed them and signed off on them. And other than that, there's nothing else to report.
Okay, thank you very much. Director Coles, or Commissioner Coles, a district review.
Nothing specific to district review, but as a result of our last workshop, Joe and I met with Bob Seal and Bill Melvin Tuesday to go over some of the items we had discussed at our workshop, and it was a very, very good meeting. We both, I think, both sides of the equation discovered issues that need some work, and so one of the things was the importance of working together on utility issues that are far-reaching. In other words, Bill brought up the idea of there's multiple roundabouts along Prairie Avenue, and how doing them as one large project makes more sense than doing them individually as a district moves along. And so that requires lots of coordination amongst the city, the agency, with developers to figure out a way to do it. We've done something similar, if you remember the lift station out at
Yes.
Expo and Cabela's, that area, Wadsworth.
Right.
We had to work out some kind of an arrangement. So there's a lot of those types of issues, and that'll be one area that Bill brought up. But then when you think about the Pleasant View area, there's also some issues there that should be worked on. So
Yeah, I'm sure that's very true. Probably is a lot more cost effective to have them engineered and construction contracts issued and stuff like that and
trying to
tied
coordinate all that is the big job.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Okay.
But
and
that was the gist of our discussion, with more to follow at a future workshop. And
I think that, yeah, sure. I think that is the roundabouts that we got to start with here in Post Falls. I think were kind of one and then another one and then another one, and they weren't, they worked so well the first time. They said, let's do it over here too and over here too. So they were just piecemealing it because they were just really getting into, making that happen. And now we've got several projects with advanced information about roundabouts and so on that makes perfect sense to do it that way. So.
And we also discussed the evolution of the agency with regards to the way districts are formed, and it may be time for us to go back and look at the way we operate, look at our mission statement, and make some changes to it as we grow. So, because our projects today are much different in terms of scope and goals than they were 20 years ago. So.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, and you gotta realize that 20 years ago, I mean, the projects that are coming into fruition now and coming forward and with some really good thought processes going into and financial resources and it's changing the whole picture of Post Falls. And I think that's it's a different look now, and it requires more of that coordination and forethought. And I think that's going to come down the road just out of necessity. We're growing up in this area. Okay, thank you. Communications, property, and personnel. Anything?
Nothing to
okay.
report.
Excuse me. Citizen comments. Do we have any citizens out there that would like to make any comments? Address the agency on a related issue that is being considered? I don't see anybody wanting to make any comments. Okay, we're going to move right on. Unfinished business. Not aware of any unfinished business. Are you executive director?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, thanks. New business, 8A. Approval of the semi-annual proponent reimbursements.
Chairman, per agency policy number 7, tax increment received by the agency for each of the urban renewal districts is dispersed in February and August each year for project cost reimbursement. February reimbursements will be distributed as follows. In Tullamore, Copper Basin Construction, the reimbursement amount is $712,397.74. This would leave a remaining obligation of $74,404.26. For Tullamore Commons 2, Whitewater Creek will receive a reimbursement of $8,811.38, with a remaining obligation of $141,023.45. Expo, Proponent J.R. Watson and Associates, will receive a reimbursement of $370,103.69 and have a remaining obligation of $309,464.66. Centerpoint has a current balance of $487,955.70 for future reimbursement of public infrastructure improvements. Point Apartments has a current balance of $133,282.79 that is being held until the agreement between Whitewater Creek and Point Partners LLC is signed. Post Falls Technology District has a current balance of $275,241.24 for future reimbursement of public infrastructure improvements. Chairman Baltzell, a motion with a roll call vote would be in order to approve these proponent payments in the stated amounts and authorize the transfer of $1,091,312.81 to the First Interstate checking account for that purpose.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have a motion?
Move to approve the semi-annual proponent reimbursements.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion or questions? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Fleshman,
Aye.
Jeltnes,
Aye.
Baltzell,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Coles.
Aye.
Okay, the ayes have it. Motion approved. Item number 8B is the 2021 annual presentation of our actions, our work during that past year. So I'll turn that over to Executive Director Johns, please.
Commissioners, thank you. I'm just following in suit with what has been done in the past with this annual report, being that I'm relatively new in the position. So any questions you have along the way, feel free to ask them. I'll do my best to answer. For the 2021 annual report, a public notice was published in the Coeur d'Alene Press on February 3rd to solicit comments on the annual report. No letters of comment have been received. The report will be submitted to the City Council following Commission approval and is scheduled to be presented to the City Council at their March 15th meeting. Idaho Code 50-20 requires this report to be presented by March 31st of each year. The agency was created in 1991 and is located upstairs in the Chamber Building. 2021 officers were Jerry Baltzell, Chairman, Larry Carsonson, Vice Chair, Lynn Crosby, Treasurer. Monthly meetings, Commission meetings, are held the third Thursday of each month. Most of the agency activities fall under the following committees: Finance and Policy, District Review and Communication, and Communication, Property, and Personnel, which meet as necessary. Workshops are scheduled on an as-needed basis. The mission statement for the Post Falls Urban Renewal Agency is to encourage sound economic and community improvement that enhances the overall quality of life in Post Falls by providing and improving infrastructure, attracting jobs, and enhancing citizen safety and health. You'd see a map of the current urban renewal districts in the city of Post Falls. The Expo District is is currently in the closing process. East Post Falls and Center Point will be undergoing the closing process this year. Two new districts, Pleasant View, Downtown, are represented on the map, as is the Post Falls Technology Park to the northeast. Center Point, Expo, Tullamore, and Post Falls Technology districts all have proponent developers who build public infrastructure and pay for it up front. The risk lies solely on them to bring in new businesses, which result in increased property values and tax increment. Increment collected by the county is remitted on a monthly basis to the agency, and we reimburse the proponent in February and August. Increment being collected in the East Post Falls South and Center districts is funding sewer improvements in the East Post Falls district, funding road intersection improvements, and provided for the early payoff of the Greens Ferry Overpass in November 2021, saving $51,000 in interest payments. The agency is currently undertaking the closing process in the Expo District.
Could we back up just for a minute? I just have a question. If you go back to the previous slide on the mission statement, Commissioner Coles, you made a comment that we need to look at the mission statement and revise that. Has there been suggestions that are being worked on to make that happen, or?
No, I don't think we've done anything towards it yet. It's just the idea of re-examining that mission statement and some of those goals that are up there and maybe expanding them somewhat.
Okay.
would be appropriate.
Okay, that could be potentially a good subject for a workshop in the near future.
Very good.
Thank you, that's all I had on that.
And I've noted that. In the Expo District has had over $4.6 million of approved infrastructure-related costs approved over its duration. Over $60 million of taxable value will return to the underlying taxing districts upon closure. On our district data overview slide, this slide shows the total improved infrastructure costs in each district and the remaining obligation at December 31st, 2021. The agency rebated over $5.4 million back to the taxing entities from the East Post Falls District, as there were no major projects being funded in 2009 and 2012. Centerpoint and East Post Falls will begin the closing process this year.
It's interesting to note that the rebates, and both of those rebates took place prior to building the Greens Ferry Overpass. And we still were able to put that together on, well within budget and the time frame. Thank you.
This slide shows a 3-year comparison of tax increment received by district. The overall increment in 2021 decreased 4.5%. With the current and upcoming district closures, together with the newly formed districts coming online the next 3 years, will bring significant change to this information. Once a proponent completes public improvements and they are dedicated to the city, the eligible construction costs are approved by the agency and added to their obligation. The agency reviewed and approved 2 orders of approval in 2021 totaling over $243,000. In August, $15,000 was approved in the Post Falls Technology District for the reimbursement of the district plan fee, and in October, $228,391 was approved in the Expo District for Creative Way and Expo Parkway North costs. Financial highlights for the agency are based on the agency's annual audit. Increment revenue decreased due to district closure and new development within our URDs. Interest revenue decreased due to declining interest rates together with decreased equity in the state investment pool. Cash decreased as anticipated with the spending or the funding of sewer projects in the East Post Falls District. Loan liabilities decreased over the fiscal year as the agency continued to pay down the loan at Washington Trust Bank on the Greens Ferry Overpass, which required a 10% loan reserve. Proponent obligations decreased due to payments made to district proponents for approved public infrastructure. And the actual operating expenses were almost $99,000 less than budgeted. Any questions?
Just to comment on the liabilities for the loan, going into 2022, that does not exist any longer.
Right. This information was based on the audit for the fiscal year 2021.
Yep, thank you.
Yes. 2021 projects, Kenworth broke ground in the Expo URD and made significant progress toward an operational facility. The agency funded $2,700,592 for sewer improvements in the East Post Falls District, and it is anticipated that we will fund another $1.49 million in 2022 to complete the sewer improvements along Highway 41, which includes the lift station and EQ Basin on 12th Avenue. Greens Ferry Overpass was paid off early. This occurred in November when the agency was able to apply the loan reserve of $237,375, together with $1,171,446 from the local government capital investments interest-bearing account to fully pay off the Greens Ferry Overpass loan 22 months early. The early payoff resulted in over $51,000 in interest payment savings. In regards to district closures, As the districts close, this table shows the amounts that will go back to the taxing entities and the taxpayer. The numbers are based on 2021 levy rates and increment revenues, which are subject to change when the districts actually close. As you can see from this recap slide, when the URA has completed our job, a huge amount of new development tax increment will be returned to the taxing entities and the taxpayers, not only the year the district closes, but every year in the future. This is a huge benefit to each of the taxing districts and each and every taxpayer. A total of $4.1 million over the next couple of years may afford our elected officials and city county leaders the opportunity to explore fiscal budgetary options and or reductions. Post Falls Urban Renewal Agency would like to acknowledge, make several acknowledgments. The success and achievements of the agency would not be possible without the dedicated service to the community by many working together cooperatively to get the work done. At this time, I'd like to give particular acknowledgement to Larry Carstensen for 14 years of outstanding public service as a Post Falls Urban Renewal Commissioner before passing away in December. Our community will miss him. Diane Fountain retired January 6, 2022 after staffing the agency for 12 dedicated years, serving as the executive director for 5.5 years during that time, doing an outstanding job. And the city of Post Falls staff and administration for their dedicated work and cooperation with the agency on the East Post Falls URD, Highway 41 and sewer projects, East Post Falls URD, Cecil Pole Line intersection improvements, and of course the formation of the downtown and Pleasant View urban renewal districts, which I understand was no easy task. As this presentation comes to close, I'd like to note the agency's 5th URD closure, the Expo District, is in process with tax increment remittance occurring through 2022. The agency will initiate closing its 6th and 7th URDs, East Post Falls and Centerpoint, in 2022. And our new commissioner, Melissa Jeltness, joined the commission effective January 2022. Again, urban renewal and tax increment financing are the most significant tools available for attracting businesses and economic development, promoting job creation, and encouraging development of blighted and underutilized areas. All of us at the agency would like to thank the mayor and the city council for their willingness to work in partnership with the commission. Thank you. I'd ask any questions.
Any questions or comments? I don't have any either, other than that was a good job. You did a nice job.
Thank you.
And yeah, I think that'll show well at city council. You might get some questions, but that's pretty well laid out, so I'm not sure how many, whether you'll get very much or not. But
Well, Diane, in her training of me, did suggest I try and be as prepared for questions where I could possibly see them coming. So if, in your understanding of the information, have any suggestions, by all means. I do have a few notes within my notes regarding amounts and different processes, but
sure.
You always want to be prepared, so thank you.
Right. If you do get questions that are unclear as to how to answer or what is the appropriate answer for them, you can always say, I'll get that information and get back to you on it.
Exactly.
Yeah. You want to press on with staff report?
No, I think we need to.
Do we?
Oh, excuse me.
Chairman,
We want to approve it, don't we?
actually, we need to ask if there's any public comment first, because public comment on the annual report is allowed. It looks like we have one member of the public in the back. Does she want to make a comment?
Anyone in the audience would like to offer any public comments on the presentation? Maybe you could state your name and your address and repeat what you said coming down.
I didn't see a public comment card, so that's why I was kind of remaining silent, so I apologize. My name is Cheryl Area, A-R-E-A, and I live at 8513 North Scottsworth Street in Post Falls. So my question is, I noted that, this is my first time attending, so I'm trying to just get my feet wet on it. But in your statement, you said attracting business and jobs, that was the primary focus of this commission or, committee. And what I've seen is only housing development. I don't see attracting new businesses and jobs. So I was curious as to if anyone could comment on that.
Sure, that's the nature of the beast, housing, we don't control housing.
Okay,
We're always looking to encourage business investment and the expansion of public utilities to serve business and industry, but we don't have any control over the housing market.
Yeah.
We aren't involved in residential housing, so.
yeah, I guess that I haven't seen a one-for-one, you might say, of trying to build the infrastructure and the roads and meeting those needs as well as attracting business and jobs. So, because I don't see the downtown being, because there was a talk about the downtown being developed, and I don't see any progress in that. So that's kind of where I was wondering what the track was on that.
That's the nature of the beast, and we become frustrated with
Sure.
that too, that we don't see the investment that we anticipate will happen. However, the downtown district's been around for years and years and years, and there's been some investment, not as much as we would like to see. If you've got the magic bullet to get the investment down there, we'd love to see it.
Yeah, no, because I just, it was more just, were you meeting your mission statement by doing all of this? And I don't see the attracting jobs and businesses. And so I just wanted to just throw that out there.
I might just comment just on the
Sure.
downtown district. There's a couple of huge projects. I would just suggest that you drive down Spokane Street, you can see the landings. There's gonna be a number of commercial businesses going in there. And then if you just drive down Fourth here, there's a huge project that's going on the south side of
Okay.
Fourth. And there's also a lot of businesses that are going on the north side.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Okay.
and those are really exciting projects, so you should follow those.
Okay, and I know that I've driven by those areas and they've been vacant for a while. So, it's just like,
There's a lot of action. I was
Okay.
actually just down here at the Millworks the other day. It's really exciting. So
Okay.
after the meeting, I would just suggest you just take a left out of the
Sure.
parking lot and drive down.
well, thank you, I appreciate that. No
And also,
problem.
just for clarification, the downtown district and the Pleasant View district out west of town were just formed this last summer. So they are relatively new districts. There was a prior city center urban renewal district, but it closed a number of years ago.
Oh, okay.
So the work that you're seeing now that Commissioner Davis is recommending you take a look at, it is relatively new and it's in a new district.
Okay,
If you look at the history of the agency as far as out in Riverbend, Expo, City Center, the areas out towards the state line, as you approach the state line, there are new businesses that have moved into the area within urban renewal districts there.
Okay.
So there has been economic development and job growth through those. The infrastructure that is projects that are being undertaken along Highway 41, that include both transportation and water and sewer improvements, they will support additional industry and commercial development up through that corridor. They will also support additional residential, but it comes hand in hand.
okay. So the downtown on Saltese, that is kind of, all the businesses that are along Saltese, is that moving along as far as trying to rebuild those items so that
Which way on Celtics?
the Saltese between, I'd say Idaho and Spokane, all those businesses that are along there on Saltese are, because the newspaper articles that I read, that they said that they were going to try to give them a new appearance because they're very old and outdated. Is that been abandoned, or is it because you're moving over to the other area?
Well, nothing's been abandoned, it's just that area, most of what you're talking about is not in an urban renewal district. So this body doesn't have any focus in that area.
Okay,
And so, the city has certainly plans
Okay.
for that corridor along Celtice.
Okay.
And that's been something that's been evolving for the
Okay.
last 20 or 30 years, to my knowledge, so.
Okay.
Yeah, and the individual
Slowly.
businesses are responsible for upgrading and modernizing and whatever their facilities, and I think in coordination with city staff and what they're doing as well. But
Okay.
like Commissioner Cole said, that particular area is not in a district that we
Okay.
have any participation. But beyond what we talked about as far as out on Fourth Avenue and over here on the landings are just a couple of what's going on. Pleasant View is gonna change here very quickly. We're working very hard with the city and the proponent to provide opportunities for new industrial business, commercial businesses. The technical park out on north on Highway 41, just beyond Prairie View, it's just beginning. There's a lot of pieces that have to come together to make these projects work well, but there's also spin-off things that happen because of a district like that. The technology district across on the east side of Highway 41 is going to be a major shopping area
Oh, good. Okay.
with all kinds of good stuff going on. Same thing down on Fourth Avenue. There's going to be a lot of additional businesses to serve the people. But
Okay.
I think if patience will allow it, a year or two from now, it's going to look way different.
Okay.
And I think you're going to be very pleased with the changes that are coming. We certainly are excited about it. We wish we could start it today, and get them done. But it takes a lot of work in putting together the right paperwork and get the right approvals done with the city and planning and zoning and things like that. But the majority of the things that we do are infrastructure, just like we were talking about. The major project going with sewer and water coming down Highway 41 is serving some residential, but it's also serving businesses that are in the process of being developed. And
Okay.
so it's a fairly complicated situation, but it is doing that piece. That's one of the focuses we have, is to make sure that the projects that we get involved with are within the scope of what we're supposed to be doing in meeting our goals. But it's good that you ask because, we try really hard to get the information out to the public, but some of it you can't put out until it's decided.
Right.
And
Right.
the planning is made and the proponent or the developer is ready to make announcements. And there've been some in the paper, but sometimes it's easy to miss them. But I don't know if that answers any questions or not.
Yeah, if I might add, I think a really good way to understand is that we're not spearheading any projects, but what we do is we work alongside investors and developers and the city, and we work together to complete projects, but we're not spearheading
Okay.
any of these projects. I think that that's maybe an easier way to kind of understand what we're doing and how we're doing it, to make sure that the water and the sewer and things like that can support those things. So that's how we support the job growth here.
Does it go, if I may ask, does it start with the city council working with the people that are wanting to do the improvements, and then they come to this committee or this commission
Well,
to?
it works both ways
Okay.
from time to time. I think one of the simplest ways to look at the value of urban renewal is think about all development in any community. Developers are obligated to provide certain improvements to the utility systems. Well, there's also things that will open up an entire region. And a good example was the sewer lift station out in the Expo and the Wadsworth Development Center Point districts. That was necessary to allow that entire area to develop. Well, it was beyond the capability of most of the developers involved to do that on their own. But yet it was necessary for that whole thing to evolve. And so that's where urban renewal comes in and says, okay, to put up that huge water tank and stuff, we'll do that. The developers pay for it, but
Okay.
we'll reimburse them for that because it will benefit the entire community. That's one of the best ways to look at it.
Okay, great.
So we always look for those things that are above and beyond the normal cost of development that might aid the community in growing.
Okay, great. Well, I'm glad I came up because you guys really clarified a lot of kind of the little holes that I had, pockets that I didn't quite understand because this is I'm trying to get involved and understand what the city's doing.
Sure.
So, thank you, I appreciate it.
Sure.
All
Could you
right.
be sure and give your name and address
Okay.
to our executive director before you leave?
Okay.
Did you have any comments, Melissa, from your point of view as a realtor? Nope.
Thank you for the question, though.
Are you new to the area?
No, I've been here about 5 years,
Okay,
so.
very good.
In that 5 years, I've seen a lot of change, and some of it's good, some of it's bad.
I know for the last probably 10 years at least, across the street over here at the landing, it's been a beautiful spot with nice lights on the streets and nice sidewalks and nothing else.
Yeah, that's,
And out at where Cabela's is, it was Cabela's and Walmart, and that's what it was for quite a while because the economics, we had that economic downturn where things weren't expanding and growing and stuff like that. But go out and take a look at what's there now, and what you're going to see here and down there is going to be. I think you'll like it. So, but I appreciate your comments. You're willing to talk to us anytime.
well, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. We need to take action on approving,
Move to approve the annual presentation.
okay? Is there a second? Second, okay. Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? It's a good job on that, Director Johns. I don't think we need just a voice vote, I think, with that.
That's fine.
Yeah. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Now we can go down to the staff report, which you may not have anything left to say.
Just a minimal amount. The 2021 annual report is scheduled to be presented to the City Council at their March 15th council meeting. And other than that, just a couple of additions to what Commissioner Coles mentioned earlier in the district review discussion. There are potential revisions that have been suggested to the existing agency project questionnaire and evaluation form and the subsequent processes that ensue after the submission of that form. It's suggested that this form be revised to prompt responses that contain greater detail about what a project consists of, where it falls within the existing district plan, and related cost breakdowns. Subsequent joint review by agency and city staff would then verify the validity of the submitted information and provide an analysis or an outline of the project submission. It would also propose for the agency to consider utilizing the services of Welch Comer to conduct a review of the submitted estimated costs to determine the actual reimbursable costs that fit within the plan. I will proceed in.
Chairman, that's really a legal issue that I should determine. Engineers can't give legal opinions. If something fits in the plan, it's really a legal issue. So I would just
Okay, we're gonna make sure that
Thank you for the clarification.
hate to be
Yes.
punchy this morning, but
hey, that's why we have you here.
Punchy Pete.
Yep.
We
You
know
have to
you're
keep me in
awake.
line.
We know you were listening.
All right, thank you very much. That is all I have for a staff report, Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Any comments or questions on that? Commissioner comments? Any additional commissioner comments?
No.
Okay, very good. Chairman comments, I don't have anything new either, other than what we have talked about. It was sad to say goodbye to Commissioner Carstensen and with all the work that he has been doing, and I was glad to see the commission approve a recognition and assistance with the new veterans home out at by the state line, and do that in honor of him. And it was also a very, very wonderful opportunity to work with somebody like Diane Fountain throughout the years. And I can tell just in working with you this short amount of time, we're going to have an equally wonderful opportunity and experience with you as our executive director. So I encourage you to continue doing what you're doing, ask a lot of questions, and if we don't know the answer, we'll make something up.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I don't have any other comments, other than it looks like maybe we'll be getting a taste of winter next week, but for a little while, so it's not over yet. But I don't have anything else. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We're adjourned.